week. Happy Friday to everyone. Just waiting on Jason to hop in here, but man, it's been just a crazy few weeks. I've started the new school year here in our district in San Diego. We start a little earlier than what the nation usually starts at. No long summers for us anymore. We've had a modified year-round schedule. Gives us 6 weeks off during the summer, which is nice. I think by the end of those 6 weeks, I'm kind of getting bored. So I think 6 weeks is a perfect break for summer. But we've been at it for a month already. We just had open house. If you caught my video last week, I shared a little bit of highlights on that. What's up, Samuel? But yeah, it's with the new school year starting and with a new relationship starting with myself. I haven't been too consistent on this show, and I'm Mr. Consistency. We take these strengths tests here at our school, and number one for me is consistency. And unfortunately, I haven't been doing that, and I apologize for that. Originally I wanted to do this maybe a monthly show, but with Jason here to help me out, it's been super great. But speaking of Jason, he's popping up right now. There he is. What's up, both Macamorphs? Thanks for joining us. So yeah, it's been a crazy start here. I know Jason's life has been pretty crazy.
Can you hear me now?
Well too, and he's going to share with us what's been going on.
I can't hear you.
The sound comes on. Can you guys hear me okay? Is the sound coming through?
Okay, I'll jump out and come.
Send the shout outs to everybody here in the chat.
I can hear you now.
TK's here.
Jason Radass Designs.
Lucky's, what's up? Samuel, I believe you're my student, right, Samuel? Well, let me share with you what's been going on with me. So let me share the screen first. Sorry, it's been so long I've been doing this, so I've kind of forgot how to do some of this stuff. But today we're going to be talking about money and ball pythons, and there's been a couple of things that kind of tickled my brain about money, and unfortunately I didn't have a chance to add that yet to the slides here, but I'll talk about it. And it's been my 4th year going into this, and as a business, I'm not a business guy. You kind of expect to have made some money by now, and I'll share with you some of the money that I've made so far with ball pythons, and it hasn't been that great. But honestly, my motivation hasn't dropped at all. I'm still highly motivated to breed ball pythons. I'm not as motivated as the amount that I have currently, and I think I'm going to have to kind of reduce the amount. Sorry, I had my computer on mute, so I wasn't able to hear. Jason, your speaker?
I can hear you now.
Okay. So I wasn't on?
No, yeah, you were on.
Okay. So I had my computer on mute. But
yeah, you're good.
So honestly, I just need to start reducing things because the workload is really high on top of being a full-time teacher. It's just been kind of crazy for me. But hey, Jason, how's your week been?
Good, yeah. Well, it's been a few weeks since we had a show, since the Anaheim show.
Yeah.
And yeah, so in that time, I met someone new, and they'll be in just a little bit here. They're outside at the moment. Let's see. I dropped off a snake at the show. That was pretty cool. And since then, just been like hiking and going to the beaches and having fun with my new awesome best friend and all sorts of dogs and just enjoying summer. Yeah.
How's the weather over there? Still hot for you?
It's nice. It's still been pretty warm some days, but not as, it's like we got past the hottest part of summer, it feels like. I mean, even though usually like August and September are really hot, but
Mhm.
that was crazy the last couple months of heat. And it's starting to regulate a little bit, get like a little bit cooler at night up in the mountain. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I've been going on lots of trips. Yesterday I went to Santa Monica Beach, but I didn't go to the pier. The pier, you could see it. I should have gone to the pier. Could have done more things, but like there was this huge stretch, like a whole series of football fields worth of like space of sand at Santa Monica, and the sand's fairly clean, but it was a long walk compared to the other beaches that I've gone to this summer. Wasn't that a long walk?
Yes, it was.
That was a long walk, but it was worth it once we got our feet in the waves and in the ocean. And let's see, we went to Seal Beach last week, and we saw dolphins there.
Cool.
Dolphins, real dolphins in the ocean. Me being a Dolphins fan, that was kind of cool. That was the first time I've seen them like in the wild, like in the ocean or something, or in a bay, like on my own. So that was pretty cool. They were very shiny and energetic. I hatched a few things since we last talked. I hatched the Monarch clutch. Those three babies they shed out. They're looking good. The Monarch ate and tried to bite me. That was awesome. And then I hatched the other two clutches that I was waiting on. So it was like that same Monarch male to a GHI Enchi pastel female. She's kind of unique looking, but you can tell GHI is there. And I got a clutch of babies, 6 babies, and at least two of them are very obviously GHI. There's maybe another couple that kind of I wonder, but it's not as obvious. So that's a nice healthy clutch. They've shed out, and then I hatched the pastel sunset to the pastel ultra male female that I've been waiting on for a year. Those all hatched, and they only really have like pastel between them. So there's like some super pastels and stuff. Not a very exciting looking clutch, just double heads, you know. They're all doing good. Waiting for them to shed. And then not really hatched. I had a litter of rosy boas. So I posted that on Instagram, and then I brought one out to show you.
Is this our rat ass snake of the week right here?
It is.
Okay, we'll solo you right now. Cute little baby. Now, Miguel just posted a video of his little Hellion rain or rosy boa, and in my experience, rosy boas were very bitey as well. How are yours?
Most of the ones I've had in the past are not that bitey. I handle them, and these 6 little babies are kind of like a little bit nippy and go after you a little bit. It's kind of cute. This one is one that was in there that ate. So I left rat pinkies, like day-old and 2-day-old rat pinkies in with them, hoping that they were ready to eat. And this one and another one ate. So that's kind of cool. This one's nice and chubby.
Are you currently breeding your own rodents?
Look at that meal.
Oh yeah.
Had its lunch. That's a pretty. I've never had a rosy boa baby take a rat baby as a first meal before. Like I always gave them like pinky mice and but this one ate and is like pooping all over me. That's cool. No, they really aren't that nippy of snakes, but if you don't hold them much, some of them can be. I mean, just like anything else, like some ball pythons, you have like a really mean one, sometimes. Not very often, but so yeah, they're doing good, and that was kind of fun. It's been like at least 14 years since I've had a litter of rosy boa babies, maybe 15. And that's it. So lots of babies right now.
Now, since we're talking money on today's episode, how much are those rosy boas going for?
Well, the parents, I traded ball pythons to a girl in Florida for. She was on Morph Market, and she paid $1,700 for one of the parents, probably the female, and then 1,400 for the male. And then so it was like 3,100 for the pair. That's what she paid 7 years ago when we were talking about the trade. And I used to have like exanthics and albinos and different ones, and I once paid a similar amount for one, but I just traded ball pythons for it. So it was like I looked at it as if I was trading ball pythons for like 3,100 in cash, basically. So I gave her a little bit extra. She was happy. I think she got one clutch from the snakes so far, maybe two. And eventually I got 6 babies out of it. So I don't know what the market rate on them would be right now. I've seen one of the main companies that offers different rosy boa morphs have them when they are available. They're like 1,500, but I'll probably sell them for a little bit less than that. Yeah, I'll probably keep a couple, 2 or 3, and then sell the others. So, kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's all in what someone's willing to pay. You know what I mean? Right now, the market's pretty tough with the presidential elections and the economy and everything. So I'll just reach out to some rosy boa breeders and see if I can work something out.
Leland has a question here. Are you going to the Vegas show at all, or are you
I think
vending?
I think that's like pretty soon, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's in like isn't it this weekend?
Is it this weekend? I'm been kind of out of the loop lately.
Or maybe it's mid-September. I don't know. I didn't go to the last 2, so I'd like to check this one out. Yeah.
Speaking of shows, so I had these kids come up to me and they wanted to do an animal club here at our school, and I was like, okay, I'll be the advisor for that. And I didn't know about this, but they told me there's a reptile show here in San Diego. I said, there is? So I looked it up online, and apparently there is one. I think it's in November. And so I contacted them because my kids want to go to that show. They're planning a field trip to that show. And I was like, hey, why don't I vend that show, and I could bring the kids there and we could make it an experience for them. So I looked up, and they don't have online vendor spots yet, but I emailed the guy and he said in September they're going to start opening it up. So there's a possibility I might be doing my own show come November. So
nice. That would be great.
And I'm glad
I'm gonna really quickly, Mark. I'm gonna introduce you to Noel, and then I'm gonna go put this snake back and grab a different snake. All right. Making her introductory.
Let me put you guys on solo here.
It's like in a comic book when they bring in a new character. This is the first appearance of Noel.
All right.
Hello, Noel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Now, Jason has been going on about how gorgeous you are, and
I think he needs his eyes checked, but it'll be all right.
Well, thank you for joining us and being supportive of Jason here.
It's course.
Really to do that.
Yeah, of course. I'm just not educated with snakes, and he's been educating me, so it's been interesting. I held my first snake. I didn't freak out. So I was excited about that. He was proud.
Have you ever had any like exotic pets in your lifetime?
Yes, I have. I had an African gray parrot when I was like 10, and she actually died. I think I was like 21. Yeah, she was old. She was pretty cool. She would talk. She said a lot of cuss words though.
Was that you teaching those cuss words? Or
No, I'm pretty sure it was my mom. I might have learned a few cuss words from the parrot, but other than that, yeah.
have
My
you?
kids,
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say my kids have had snakes and geckos and stuff like that. I mean, living in the desert, how can you not? I just told them no scorpions. But the other day, Jason wanted to see. He kept saying, "Oh, I hope when we're in the desert we see a scorpion." And like right before we were going to bed, my mom calls and she's like, "You got to come get this scorpion out of my house." And so we ran over there, and it was a huge scorpion. Yeah, it was pretty big. So I said, "There you go." He
Is
will
it-
be. Go ahead.
Is it true that with a black light they shine bright blue? Have you tried
Yes,
that?
they do. They do. They're iridescent. They just glow under a black light. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But a lot of people in the desert do have their entire property surrounded with black lights. Plus, there's a noise ordinance for the sky, like the stars in the sky, the night sky. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, that way you can see all the stars and all the beauty that the desert holds at night.
yeah.
All that stuff.
Very cool. Have you been to any shows yet with Jason?
Not yet, not yet. So I hope to go to a few if my schedule allows it.
And not to get a little personal, but how did you guys meet?
We met online.
Okay, yeah,
We met online. I'll own that.
nothing wrong with that. I've done the online dating thing, so
What are we talking about while I was gone? Okay, so these are the two snakes, Mark, that from the other clutch they haven't shed out yet, but they're obvious like GHI. So
Oh,
one's like a butter GHI, and then one's just like the mom, like a pastel Enchi GHI.
and these are double het sunset ultramel.
No, these ones are Monarch father, so
Oh.
het Monarch.
Yeah, really cool.
GHI, and then the double het sunset ultramel ones, they're just normal looking.
He's like a proud father right now with all these little baby snakes. It's kind of cute.
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd be dating a guy with like a million snakes in his house?
No, and I actually asked him how many, and he just put me to work when I got here. So I was like, all right, we're gonna organize this a little bit better. But yeah, never thought that, but who knows what life brings. So
What is Mark asking you?
okay.
He's a school teacher. He's good at questions.
All right.
Did he give you any multiple choice ones?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, those are coming up now.
Very cool, Jason. I'm so happy for you, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought her on.
Yeah, she's awesome.
You led us right into our question of the week. Perfect segue here.
I did.
So, anybody in the audience, if you want to answer this question of the week, you know what? I've been so out of it. I don't have a shout out for this week. I should have a shout out, and I apologize, but I'll do a double shout out next week for our previous winner. But hey, if you win this, I will give you a shout out next week, and you will be eligible for a free snake from myself and Jason. And I tell you what, man, I've had my second clutch come out, and they are gorgeous, man. So
Yeah, we got some stuff to offer people now.
yeah, and you do as well. Let me read this, and it looks like Kike is giving me a shot already. A baby female desert ghost ball python in 2021 cost about $1,400. Today you can get one for, and so we got Kike with B, Aaron with C, Bolt City Breakers B also. Man, you're gonna be shocked at. Oh wait, I went ahead here. Sorry. You're gonna be shocked at what they are going for. In fact, give me a second here while people are still guessing because I don't see the right answer yet. and I'll pull up what I saw in Morph Market today.
I was gonna guess C.
See, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good price. I would think that that's like what they would be going for.
Well, Robbie got it. It's actually D. I saw one today on Morph Market for $100. Now there's a caveat to it. Oops, wait up. In that it does have an undesirable gene attached to it. But it's crazy thinking about when we both got into it, how sky high the prices were and where they're at right now.
Yeah.
So, man, give me a moment here and what's the most expensive snake you bought, Jason?
The monarch female that have yet to get eggs from. She was $4,500
Wow.
as an adult, already paired by some other snakes and then reabsorbed. And she's an impressive snake. She was raised really well. So she's really healthy. I'm just hoping she'll drop eggs in the next like month or two.
Man, that the most I paid for a ball python was $2,250.
Yeah.
Was that on a payment plan that you did?
Nope, I threw it all in one shot. I took actually a loan, which a lot of people will say not to do, and I'm paying for it now. But I got the snake that I really wanted, and she's really healthy. And eventually, I'll get eggs from her, and she'll create a whole bunch of monarchs, and it'll all work itself out in the long run.
Okay, so here's the desert ghost I saw for $100. So as you can see, it does have caramel albino attached to it, which with the female does have kinking issues. So it's a fire desert ghost too. So we got two genes going on. But of course, you got to pay shipping, but still that price. Next one does have pinstripe attached. I know that's considered undesirable, but they do in general fall within that $250 range. But we have a couple of outliers here in the $100 to $150 range. So
yeah, that's a great deal for a ball python that's going to grow up and be pretty, really pretty and nice looking as it ages.
And what's worse, caramel albino or spider?
I don't know. I'd rather it was like het for caramel albino than like carried like a visual spider gene to it.
You know what? I just saw on Morph Market auctions today, someone had a Caramello, which is caramel albino ultramel combo, female, and people were bidding, I think it was like at $200. And I was just wondering if they were aware of the issues they had. And actually, Morph Market did give that warning.
Yeah.
So, maybe someone wants a beautiful pet, which is cool in itself. But there was
they're pretty snakes. And Aaron, who's in the chat, he hatched a desert ghost that was also caramel albino. It just popped out, and it was really pretty. I almost picked that one over the other desert ghost that I got from him, but I went with the one that I went with.
Yeah, so you know what? It's a really good time to get into ball pythons. I remember I got in when it was that $1,400 price range, and I just couldn't afford it at the time. And the first desert ghost I did get, I got a male for, it was like $1,200, the pinstripe desert ghost from Fireball. So, man, the prices have dramatically dropped, and it just makes me wonder, like, I got caught up in all the hype of the pandemic when everything was just going for some crazy prices.
Yeah. Well, I have one crazy hyped up price story that is pertinent to the updating what's gone on lately. Is that right after we last did a show, I after the show I went and checked on the snakes some more, and the only clown that I have in my whole collection, the only clown female that I ever bought at the height of, the pandemic boom in pricing, It was a $1,600 pastel butter clown. And she was really, really like pretty too. Just not like some regular lesser clown. Like she was like really exceptional, really light, really pretty. And I raised her for a couple years. Sometimes she was a very picky eater. She didn't like being in a big cage. It took a lot of trying different environments. I wanted her on display. And then once I put her in the rack, like she was fine. But she also got attacked by an ASF that I left in here. Since I'm only here like 1 day a week, sometimes I leave one in with them. And I left one in with her and came back like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days later. And it had bitten her up a bit. And she had killed it and left it in the water bowl. Didn't eat it. And I was like, okay. But it bit her up kind of good. Nothing like real bad and scarring, but like you could tell that she had like a rash of like bites on her. And over the course of the next couple months, like she did fine. And I put bag balm on her and made her tub really sterile. And I did get her to eat once. And then she just got like kind of pink. Her skin was like, had like a pink hue to it. And that would, she's a little bit translucent in a sense. So you could like see it really well. And then the next day it was like worse. And I didn't have the time or ability right then and there to take her to get antibiotics at the vet. I think she got like a blood infection from having been bit up and then healing from an ASF bite. So right after our last show, I checked on her and she had passed away. And I was pretty upset about that because that was at the time, the most expensive snake I bought. And that was a payment plan during the pandemic, $1,600. I made like 3 payments. And she was a really pretty snake and really handleable, really friendly. I paired her a couple times, but nothing happened. And then boom, just dead. So that's kind of a lesson on live feeding versus frozen thawed. You'll never have that problem. But most of the snakes I've ever seen get bitten by a mouse or an ASF like recovered just fine. And every once in a while, they'll develop an infection from it. If you don't get them antibiotics, they can, snakes have died from just a single mouse bite before.
Right.
And you hear that from people, and then you think, oh no, because you'll see something get bit, and they're just like, whatever. They're just so tough and healthy, and so you think it's not like, oh, that doesn't happen very often, and it doesn't. But in particular case, it did. So
Yeah.
I felt bad, and that's another update from the collection. So the only clown that I had, I couldn't breed in time, and eventually passed away. So I have no clowns.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit later about myself having to make some decisions on projects to cut. But yeah, clown is something I've thought about because I do have clown in multiple projects, but do I really need to do both Desert Ghost Clown and Ultramel Clown? So decisions on my part to make in the future.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get into the big money talk here, did you catch DPR Cold Blood's ODYB Monsoon video he put out yesterday, I believe?
No, but I saw his Instagram post where he showed the snake, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and I snatched this picture off his Instagram. And you know what? Monsoon, there's a lot to be done with Monsoon. I thought it was just going to be a, super dominating thing that you're not going to be able to do much with. But from what little we've seen hatch this year, it's incredible. The Monsoon Clown's incredible. This ODYB Monsoon's incredible. And so I'm really looking forward to what that produces in the future. And we're both working the project. And I've got some Hurricane Het Monsoons, all 50% possible Het Monsoons that will be hatching soon. So I'm really excited about that to see how it interacts with Hurricane.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into this money talk. And question here, how big was money a motivation for you getting into ball pythons?
For me in particular,
Yeah, I'll
no,
answer it as well, but you can start us.
not very much. Like, I guess I saw that everyone was breeding them as easy as like leopard geckos, and I felt like since that was something that I hadn't hatched in the past, but I had bred lots of very like challenging and difficult and rare species before, I thought, well, I have to kind of see that through. I've had ball pythons when I was younger and tried incubating eggs once and it didn't work out. And it was more so I just wanted to accomplish it when other people have been making it seem a lot easier in the time that I was away. So, not so much a money factor, although I figured I'd be pretty good at it. So I did look at it as I'd like the hobby to support itself kind of a way. And the more I saw videos of people creating brands and like social media presence, like it made sense to try to do that a little bit as well. And then, you know, the pricing was really hyped up during the pandemic and after it. People have invested a lot of money into the hobby, expecting to get some of that back, like they're, you know, like all this like cyber currency that we have now. What do they call it stuff? Like 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 just yeah, all the cryptocurrency stuff. Like, you know, that doesn't always pan out. You know, people jumped on that train and some people did well and some people did not. They have like 25 cents worth of some like foreign stock and some digital wallet somewhere that didn't turn into anything for them. So yeah, we got Peaches in here today too. And I did expect to eventually do pretty well because I've read a lot of things before and am good with people and salesmanship. So I thought, you know, hey, if I get a little bit lucky, maybe I'll do well before it gets too saturated. And by the end of the pandemic and into this new economy that we have right now, that's a little challenging. Like the ball python area of the market has gotten a bit saturated. People are still having a lot of fun and accomplishing a lot of stuff and making new advanced cool things and enjoying just whatever it is they have, but it's just kind of a tough time right now. And the people that are going to do really good in the years ahead are the people that are going to stick through it and keep working all these like quad het projects they have and a whole rack for one project and another rack for another project. And the people that really love working with reptiles and have fun with it are going to do a little bit better in the long run because they're just going to be enjoying their hobby and it'll pay off for them a little bit down the line. And some people are going to cash out. We've seen it every couple of weeks, you know, people that we've talked to or bought snakes from and whatnot, or seen they have a YouTube channel is like, you know, selling out and just moving on to a different hobby. And we'll see more of that. And then we'll also see more people enter the hobby too. So it'll just keep going on and we'll do better in the long run by just being good keepers and working with the stuff that we enjoy. And we'll make cool stuff. I mean, like 2 to 3 years from now, I'll be making, you know, sunset ultramals and, you know, GHI monarchs and things that I've been wanting to have my hand in. And we'll both probably have something along the way of, you know, things to work in the monsoon project. You know, we've taken kind of a slower approach, but we'll have stuff pop out eventually. And yeah, I've always just believed if you take really good care of your animals, they'll take care of you. And there's always a pet store or some new enthusiast that's wanting to get involved that you can place animals in the hands of. So you just got to stick with it.
Yeah, you brought up a great point with how, and it reminded me of myself where I got out of it for 4 years, and the hobby just keeps going on. It's going to be successful whether you're in or out of it. And if you get interested again in the future, you're going to ask yourself, why did I get out at that time? And one of the things that brought up this topic for me to bring up this week was seeing one of the breeders on my Instagram. He put up the beautiful ARS rack he had, and this was like a brand new rack he just bought, and he sold his collection and got rid of all his racks. And like you said, we see this all the time now from all the pandemic breeders who got in during that time. And for us to continue to be into this hobby, we got to love it. And I think those that stay in it loved it from the start before the money aspect came into it. When I got started, I wanted to research reptiles I could have in the classroom, and I looked up what are the best pet snakes, what are the best pet lizards, and of course ball pythons came up, and I saw all the beautiful morphs they had. I didn't realize the price that they were at the time, but I loved them from the start, and then the price came in, and honestly it is an aspect of our hobby that we have to be aware of, and because we do want to make money on this, if you want, whether it's to continue feeding our collection and making cooler morphs or to make it a business.
Have you seen Peaches before, besides just in the background?
Okay, let me put you guys on solo here.
Peaches, say hi. Say hi to the crowd.
Cutie.
Oh.
You said you had a bunch of dogs there. How many dogs you got going?
Well, there's 3 on the property here, and then up in Big Bear is Peach's sister and parents. So I stay with the people that had her parents and that we got her from, and those dogs are pretty awesome. So her dad is named Ugg. Ugg. And he is a huge tank of a pit bull, and he's super slow moving, like as if he has arthritis, and he's just real tired, and he's gonna take a slow walk to the bathroom with a newspaper or something.
Until he sees something outside, and then he's quick like a bunny.
Yeah, he's so energetic when something is like has awoken him. And apparently, now this will sound kind of controversial, but like apparently he's killed 8 other dogs before.
Oh wow.
Which sounds really mean, right? But he's like the nicest dog. So like there's a neighbor up the street from us in Big Bear, close to like hiking trails, and he has 2 pit bulls, or he had 2 pit bulls. And one of them like almost attacked a little girl in the neighborhood, and everyone complained and called animal control and stuff. They didn't really do anything about it. And one day, my roommate is taking his dogs for a walk. Peach's parents for a walk, and to where there's like hiking trails and like trees and stuff. And this guy is there on some sort of like higher up area, plateau of some sort, another street. I'm not sure. He's like in another spot. And his dogs run down from this hill and attack my roommate.
Oh my gosh.
And so they're attacking mostly like his dogs and like trying to attack him, but he's pretty agile and tough. He knows like jujitsu and stuff. Like he's avoiding getting like mauled and whatnot. And he's trying to keep Ugg away from this fight because he knows that Ugg is like a killer, and he's not trying to like do that, you know. He's trying to like keep all the dogs separate so that no dogs get badly hurt, no people get hurt. And he's telling this guy to get your dogs, get your dogs, get your dogs, and he won't do it. He just stands there like just watching as if it's like a cockfight or something in Mexico or something. And he's like, he just wanted to see what his dogs would do and what someone would do. It's the craziest story. And eventually my roommate had no choice with this guy's 2 dogs coming at him and his dogs to eventually just let his dog loose and tell him, okay, get him, you know, like he was trying to make it not be a fight, but this guy wouldn't help. And so he just said, okay, get him. And then Ugg went over to the dog that was the biggest problem.
Aggressor.
Yeah, the biggest aggressor, and just bit his neck. And then that dog just dropped lifeless. Like,
Oh,
which, I mean, I'm laughing. It's a bad, like, PETA needing to be involved, like, type story. Like, this guy should not own pit bulls. But that's the dog that I live with. And he couldn't be any sweeter and more kind and fun to cuddle with. And it's just the breed. He's trained and he's like kept away from other dogs. And there was a situation in which like that got pushed to the limit, and the guy did not get in trouble. He got reported and everything, and he still didn't get in trouble. And his dogs the dog that lived didn't even get taken away.
Everyone has that neighborhood nuisance guy.
Yeah.
And that's theirs.
So, yeah.
That's theirs. Unfortunately, he just has some big dogs.
Yeah. So, but Peach's parents are awesome, and I get to cuddle with her sister every night. So, yeah, pretty cool.
yeah. I love pit bulls. I love dogs, and they get a bad rap, but with humans, they are the sweetest things.
I was always, since my 4th birthday, a cat person. I had cats my whole life, took them on airplanes, buses, took them everywhere I went. And I loved my cat so much. My last cat lived almost till 20, not quite. And now that I've been around dogs in recent years, I just am surprised how much I like dogs, like and pit bulls in particular. Like, I've had pit bulls when I was younger in LA chase me late at night trying to kill me. And like I've met some very mean untrained pit bulls before, and I never thought that I would have liked the breed this much. Like, I'm surprised. And you'll notice, like, golden retrievers and labradors are the most popular of American canines, but I see more ads and more people talking about wanting to get pit bull puppies than like I ever remember in my life. I would say they're the 3rd most popular breed now.
Especially for service dogs.
Yeah, and for service dogs, they make great service dogs. They get the appropriate training. And yeah, pit bulls are the most fun dog to cuddle with. I don't know what it is. What's the funnest snake to cuddle with? Probably like a Burmese python that's real friendly.
I was trying to wrap you back in.
Yeah, yeah. I've met some big Burmese pythons that get a bad rap since they're at large in Florida, and not showing up to their court appearances and just staying in the hills. But people that have Burmese pythons and take good care of them and handle them a lot and feed them well, we'll pull them out and they're dog tame. They can get like 200 pounds, 250 pounds. And they're just soft, leathery feel to them when they get that age. You ever gone up to an old lady who's really tan? And it's like that same exact sensation you get from a Burmese python that's that large.
Thank you for sharing the puppies. Let's get on to our next question here. So, a little personal question here, but how much money have you spent on your collection, and how much have you made?
I haven't calculated it out like Leviathan snakes. I don't have like a spreadsheet or any of that. I would have to guess that in the 2+ years I've been back in the hobby, that money that I've earned and spent on snakes and equipment is probably like, if I had to guess, like $12,000. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, I personally guess, because I'm not a business guy and I don't write everything down. I know it's all in my bank records and stuff, but I think I've put in about like 30,000 into my snakes collection, or racks, everything else, and I honestly haven't made diddly squat. I actually brought up my morph market and how much I've sold on Morph Market. And of course, this price isn't accurate because we accept, maybe 25% off whenever people want to haggle. But showing here, I've sold 16 snakes and made 6,600. I'd say it's probably more at around 5,000 range, and a couple here and there to local sales and stuff. But it's not much in the big thing, and looking at the big thing. But honestly, I'm more into it just to try to further my collection as far as adding more genes and stuff like that. And I know eventually it's going to start bringing more revenue in. But again, I do want to reduce my collection and just focus more on certain projects. But yeah, it's crazy.
I would say the number that I've sold on Morph Market is probably similar to yours. A few less snakes, but probably like 5,000 is probably what I've recovered from stuff. Plus, I got those 2 rosy boas that had the 6 babies. That's part of like that collection I took on and traded, and that's worked out pretty well. Yeah, it's more so just like all the cost of keeping and breeding rodents and feeding them, that added up a little bit, but was a better deal than going and buying rodents elsewhere. And there's the convenience factor, but yeah, it adds up. I mean, if we had sailboats or like motor boats, we'd be sinking all sorts of money into them, and like justifying it on an occasional, like once a month, get out on the lake kind of a thing, and going fishing or whatever. Like, this is just something that we enjoy every week, and it costs to maintain it, and sometimes things get a little out of control. I mean, some ladies that like buy a Pomeranian, then they have like 9 more Pomeranians within 2 years, and they're having to buy more shovels to scoop poop, and bigger bags of dog food, and chicken to cook up, and treats, and getting their nails clipped and taking them to the dog park, and all the gas for that, and buying the little leashes and harnesses, and whatever you're going to be involved in. Sometimes you can go full tilt. And that sometimes happens in the reptile hobby, and people get a little bit more because they're fascinated by stuff, and they just keep going, and sometimes they have too many mouths to feed. And for us, we hatch stuff, and all of a sudden, before you know it, like, our collections are 30% bigger because we have a whole new generation of offspring, and got to figure out what to do with those. Yeah, there's a pet store out in this new area where Noelle lives, and maybe they could use some snakes. So I might bring some like extra byproduct, as people say sometimes with the projects, like bring them some snakes and see if can get something back for that.
Yeah, I'm fortunate in having my students, and I'm giving away any normals I hatch for free to them, just as long as they show me that they have the proper enclosure, they've done the research, and of course they have parent permission. So I have that luxury of being able to offload some of the snakes that would be a tough sell to hobbyists out there.
Yeah.
Aaron brought up. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's cool. You're educating the kids at the same time on the hobby. So
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I've made it a big part of my curriculum here, since I do teach biology, and I could incorporate that with genetics and everything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Aaron
So
brought up.
what did Aaron say?
He brought up how much hard work it is, and people don't realize how much work is put into it. And they get in thinking, oh my gosh, look at all this money. And then they've got to, clean water, and then you've got rodents and stuff like that. So ball pythons are a ton of work. And if you want to be successful at that, you got to love them and be able to put in that work.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our next question here. I think we got 1 or 2 more left. So is your outlook for the future on making money with ball pythons still optimistic at this time?
Mine is, yeah. I think I'm gonna, like you, reduce the collection size a little bit, and at some point I'll need to prepare to move it from where it's located here in the desert. But um, like consolidate a little bit more. I'm gonna have to, just to, for ease of electricity costs and maintenance. Um, I got some rodents from a buddy in this area the other day, and he just like dropped them off to me, and it was like 75 rats for like $100, and that's pretty good. So that's kind of helped me a little bit with feeding costs, and um, then I have a whole bunch of like rodent food left over from when I was breeding, and I'll be able to trade him that for like other future batches of similar size. So that was cool with him, and I might either sell or trade him my rodent racks that I like so much. That worked for me, but that's just something I can't do right now, is breeding the rodents. That takes a lot of work. If you really want to get your collection, whether it's king snakes, rosy boas, like corn snakes, red tails, ball pythons, whatever, like if you're breeding your own rodents, you're really saving yourself money and giving your animals healthier meals. But that's not always feasible for everybody, and sometimes people have life changes. So that's what I've had, and I'll have to cut back a little bit, but I'll keep the Freedom Breeder and one of the PVC racks, and just try to make it work after I liquidate a little bit more.
Yeah, with my first clutch, I didn't have any appropriately sized rodents that I bred for them for their first meal. So I went to the pet store and bought 6 hopper mice, and I was just shocked at the price of hoppers this year in comparison with last year. Last year, I think they were like $1.50, and now they're like $3.25 just for a hopper. I was just like, man, this is crazy. I gotta start breeding my own or get these guys on a frozen thaw as quickly as possible. But
Yeah.
the rodents are a huge part. Whether you breed your own, it's the work that you'll put in, or whether you buy, it's going to be a huge investment on your part.
Well, I've told you before, like when I was in the hobby in years past and decades past, like I had a buddy who bred rodents, and I could get them for like 50 cents a piece, like pretty much whatever I wanted. It's sometimes $1 for like, a fat like mama mouse or something, or a good sized rat. And and I had friends who owned pet stores. I've worked at pet stores. There's always a way to find an angle to more affordably feed. But right now in this economy and how pet stores are, like, and how the rodent breeding is in the country, like, it really makes the most sense to take it on yourself and save money. But that's not for everybody. Not everybody has a big collection either. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do without that for a while and make it work.
Yeah, you know what? Aaron's spitting some truth in the chat here. I want to invite Aaron on. Aaron, would you like to be on our show sometime? Because,
Aaron's one of my favorites. He's a great guy.
Yeah, we got to have you on because I admire your work, and what you're saying here in the chat is just really great things to talk about. Let me see if I got one more question here. I might be done. I think we're done, Jason. Any final thoughts on money and ball pythons?
Like, my best advice on it is, like, don't keep ball pythons in order to like make money and exploit the species. Like, I know that's not really like what's meant, or like with this whole new booming like ball python trade, like people are just having a lot of fun with the options. They're having a lot of fun with the species. and they're becoming herpetoculturists, and they're learning stuff, and then they sometimes move on to a different species, and that can be part of people's involvements as they gain experience in this hobby and industry. And I've been involved in it before with geckos and lizards and snakes and chameleons and tarantulas and all that. I'm just having fun with ball pythons right now. Wanted I just wanted to breed them because everybody else made it look so easy, and in the past it wasn't so easy. And I'm having fun. Like, they hatch out of the egg, it's the cutest little thing. They're poking their head out, and they're easy to take care of. You feed them once a week for a while, and then you can move on to once every couple weeks once they get good size. And then sometimes you can not feed a snake for like a month, and it's totally fine after that when it's an adult. Like, they're low maintenance. You can go on vacation, make sure that they're watered and everything, but you could have somebody check on them once and you're good. Like, they're very fun, they're very docile, they're chill. I mean, you held one. She held the first one that we hatched, like a little bell, a little super Mojave, and
Beautiful.
yeah, it just chilled in her hands. And what do you think about all this reptile hobby stuff? What do you think?
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
I like it because you like it. I love that.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, but people that enter the hobby, they're usually fascinated with some sort of creature. Sometimes you'll meet someone, they kind of like turtles. Like, I don't really like snakes or lizards, but like, turtles are cute. And they are cute. And like, Mark has an aquatic turtle as the classroom pet.
I've had water turtles for the boys.
See?
Let me show you Porkins real quick.
Yeah, let's see
yeah.
how Porkins is doing.
His name is Porkins.
Yeah,
That is adorable.
you'll see why in a second.
Porkins.
Oh my goodness. Look how cute he is.
Sometimes Porkins shows off for the people. He eats really good.
So that's Porkins, the pig-nosed turtle.
He's cute. Now,
My
how
little-
old is he?
He just turned 21 this year.
Oh my goodness.
Right? You could pour a little bit of whiskey in his water.
Right?
Porkins can drink now.
That's what I told the kids, but I think I'd get in trouble bringing alcohol on campus. So,
I think you would.
all right, Jason. Aaron said he'll come on our show, so I'm gonna leave you up to the details on arranging that. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to talk to him about that for next Friday?
Yeah. If whenever he's available, we'll try to shoot for next Friday.
Okay, we'll shoot for that first. We'll go from there. It's a fun show. Noelle, what do you think?
I like it.
YouTube's not that scary. I'm not scared of YouTube. All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jason. I love seeing how happy you are right now, and
Thank you.
thanks.
We will.
It was nice meeting you.
Oh, sorry.
We'll talk later in the week. I'll send you some pictures for slides for next week.
Cool. Yeah, Aaron
Right.
said maybe in 2 weeks, but we'll figure it out. So no worries.
Okay, 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks to prepare.
All right,
We
everybody.
could do, Mark, maybe we could do the whole, like, the graphics on the top and everything. We can make it all fancy, official. If we need Holly's help, then just touch base with Holly. I'll pay for it. And then, like, Aaron can be the first guest with, like, the fancy graphics.
Okay, we'll make that work.
We have 2 weeks to prepare, Mark.
Thanks for putting pressure on me, but nah.
All right. Sometimes you need that. I hope you enjoy your weekend and your school week next week. And then it sounds like we'll probably just skip a week. And then we'll unless there's big news in the hobby, we'll skip a week and reconvene in a couple weeks from today.
Sounds good.
All right. You have a good one, Mark.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.